Have you ever found yourself avoiding something you knew you were supposed to do? Maybe it was a tough conversation, a difficult task, or a responsibility you just didn't want to face. Jonah, a prophet from the Bible, found himself in a similar situation, except he was trying to run away from God himself. Jonah's story is a powerful reminder of what can happen when we ignore God's plan for our lives, and how His mercy always finds a way to guide us back. God gave Jonah a very clear command: go to the city of Nineveh and warn the people to repent from their wicked ways, or their city would be destroyed. But Jonah wanted nothing to do with it. Nineveh was known for its cruelty and sin, and Jonah feared not only for his safety, but also that the people might not deserve God's mercy. So, instead of following God's direction, Jonah boarded a ship heading in the opposite direction, to Tarshish. Jonah's decision to flee was more than just fear or reluctance. It was an outright choice to ignore God's will. We can relate to Jonah in many ways. Sometimes, God asks us to step out of our comfort zones or to do things that seem difficult or even unfair. But Jonah's story shows us that running from God's plan is never the answer. Jonah didn't get far before the consequences of his disobedience caught up with him. As he sailed away, a violent storm arose, threatening to sink the ship and endanger everyone on board. The sailors, terrified, cast lots to determine who was responsible for this disaster, and the lot fell on Jonah. Realizing his actions had brought danger to everyone around him, Jonah confessed that he was running from God. In an act of self-sacrifice, Jonah told the sailors to throw him overboard to calm the storm. Reluctantly, they did so, and immediately the sea grew calm. But Jonah's troubles were far from over. As he sank into the sea, he was swallowed by a great fish. A punishment, yes, but also a strange kind of protection. Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish, giving him plenty of time to reflect on the choices he had made. His situation serves as a reminder that when we ignore God's direction, it often leads to chaos not only in our own lives, but also in the lives of those around us. Inside the belly of the fish, Jonah realized the gravity of his mistake. In his darkest hour, Jonah cried out to God in prayer, repenting for his disobedience, and in His endless mercy, God answered. The fish spit Jonah out onto dry land, giving him a second chance to fulfill his mission. This time, Jonah obeyed. He went to Nineveh and delivered God's warning. Much to Jonah's surprise, the people of Nineveh listened. They repented, turned from their wicked ways, and God spared the city from destruction. Jonah's story shows us that even when we run away from God's calling, He is always willing to extend grace and offer us a new beginning. Jonah's journey teaches us a valuable lesson. Ignoring God's call can lead to unexpected and difficult consequences. But even when we stray, God, in His mercy, offers us opportunities to turn back and make things right. The story of Jonah reminds us that it's never too late to follow God's path, no matter how far we've tried to run. So take a moment to reflect. Is there something you've been avoiding that God is calling you to do? Jonah's story can inspire us to trust God's plan, even when it seems tough or uncomfortable. After all, God's ways are always for our good, and His grace is always enough to guide us back to Him.